Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Angelica here. If you're new, then come in, have a seat, have several seats. If you're not new, thank you for having me once again, all up on your screen. This is a quick video on how I revise for my A-level exams. So I've got a few questions from people asking me, how did you revise for GCSE, how did you revise for year 12 exams, how did you revise for year 13 exams. So hopefully this might help all of you who have queries about, when I started revising, what I did, and how you can maximize your chances of increasing your grades. So I collected my notes as I was learning the course. It's one thing for you to revise and it's one thing for you to learn something all over again. What you don't want to be doing is learning your whole syllabus when it's time to revise. So what you better start doing, if you haven't been doing that already, is start making your notes in advance so that when it comes to exam season, revision period, study leave, I think they call it in school, you essentially can just go back to your prepared notes, have them written up digitally if that helps you. Before, I never used to rewrite things or type things digitally. I used to just write them on paper in my notepads, but then I stopped writing in notepads and I started to write on mind maps, which I will explain in this video, but in a couple of minutes. And the reason why I didn't really like notepads is because this incentivizes you from actually opening the book, because you got to find information. Whereas if it's not like a big notepad and if it's just a couple of sheets that have been stapled together, or a mind map, is kind of more accessible in a way, if you get what I mean. Hope that makes sense. Definitely collect your notes ongoing so you can refer to it, and even if it's in like a proper notebook, a big notebook, that's better than not having anything. Just make sure your notes are coherent and they make sense and they follow through from each other. The next 1 month going back, you want to understand what it is that you wrote. So as best as you can, don't write things in shorthand, don't write things that you won't without context, because you actually won't remember. You think you will, but you won't. Save yourself the trouble right now. I did as much practice essays as I could. Unfortunately, I can't actually bring my essays because they're at home, but one thing that really helped me was practicing throughout the year. So especially for religious studies, I did essay-based subjects apart from maths, and religious studies for me, I had so many essays. I basically had an essay every week probably. I did a lot of essays thanks to my teacher. After 3 essays, I just kept on getting full marks, and if I didn't get full marks, I dropped 1 or 2 marks. So I basically cracked the code, I cracked the formula, and every essay I wrote, I was just doing really well. Constantly I was just getting full marks, getting A stars, and practicing really helped me because it gave me, number one, a chance to get feedback, gave me a chance to improve, and it gave me a chance to learn from the mark schemes. This is very crucial. If you can, learn from the mark schemes, because they basically tell you what they want to see. So that way you're basically trained and prepared. It's a bit of a shame that you have to train yourself to get a good grade, because I feel like you shouldn't have to fit into a box, but that's the reality of our education system. Now's not the time to be proposing policy changes. Just do it, just fit into the box if you want that A star. I actually properly started to revise probably about 3 weeks before my exams. I want to say a month max. I didn't start revising from January. I know we all start off the year saying this year is going to be my year. This year is my year. I'm going to learn everything 4 months in advance before my exams. Girl, it don't work that way. You will tire yourself. You're gonna forget everything and you're gonna be wasting your time and your energy. Pick what is reasonable. Pick a time frame that you can say, yeah, what I'm learning right now, 3 weeks before, in 3 weeks time I will remember it. You need to be reasonable and give yourself enough time to go over your courses. And don't forget the fact that you're not just doing one A level, unless you are doing one A level. If you're doing multiple A levels, then make time for that and set a goal of how much you want to revise a day. A timetable might help you. Unfortunately I don't have it with me, but I do have a study timetable that really helps me to plan my objectives for the day and plan what I'm actually revising. But if that doesn't help you, sometimes timetables don't help people. it's definitely important for you to have an idea of how much you want to revise in a day if you can't stick to timetables. But at some point you need to be diligent and like try and have like a structure at least of what you want to revise. As I said earlier, I'm very big on mind maps, so I made a lot of my notes on mind maps, and essentially every mind map was like a practice question. That's how I made my essay plans. I didn't really revise random topics, unconnected topics anymore. I revised questions, and I basically made up my own questions. I've said this before, I made up my questions, especially for history, where there is so many things you could be asked. It could be something very specific or something very general. So I tried to be prepared, and what this did was it got me to engage with what I was reading. It got me to like actually think actively about what I'm reading and what I've learned, so that like I might not get that question in the exam, but what I did do was already consider the nuances of that historical period anyway, so I'm ready to apply what I've learned for another question because I've engaged with it already. Application is very important. You can't just learn a whole textbook and vomit it onto the page. You absolutely need to apply it, and mind maps very much helped me to do that. And one thing I also like to do was engage with my text as much as I could by explaining it to other people. So as much as I could, obviously I'm a lawyer, I'm a law student, so I really enjoyed being able to bring my knowledge into random dinner table discussions. Or I'll tell you what I learned. Well, I learned this in sociology, and it's actually quite nice being able to relate what you're learning to real life, because it basically sticks in your head. I can't explain the science of it, but the more you engage with something, it's called active learning. It really does improve your chances of getting better marks when it comes to answering a question on that topic. I also made sure I understood buzzwords. So for subjects like religious studies, I had a glossary of all the words I need to remember, and I made sure I knew the buzzwords, I knew the key terms. So yeah, do the glossary as you're doing your revision, so you can go back over it and read and say, do I understand that? Yes, I do. Do I not understand that? Then I need to learn it. And another thing I did was I wrote as much as I could, because you basically need to get to a point where you won't be tired of writing in the exam. And writing really helps to solidify what you're learning more than typing, from my experience. So if you can write your revision notes, then write them, and use equipment as much as you can that might aid your experience, like flashcards and all those juicy things. And I might make another video on revision, like a revision kit, if that might help you guys. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to connect with me on my other social media channel. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Until the next one, bye.